The U.S. is developing the world's most expensive fighter jet. NGAD could be fewer and costlier. The number of NGAD fighters is expected to be constrained by the limited number of high-performance air superiority fighters fielded abroad and its cost. The number built will most likely depend on their cost and the Pentagon's threat perceptions. A report to the U.S. Congress on the Next Generation Air Dominance (NGAD) program recently stated that it intends to develop a portfolio of technologies enabling air superiority, with the expectation that it would replace the F-22 Raptors beginning in 2030. Congress has appropriated approximately $4.2 billion for NGAD's 6th-gen fighter jet program since 2015. The NGAD is a large-scale, multifaceted endeavor to produce next-generation tactical air combat capabilities, specifically refined to battle deep in contested territory. A 6th-generation crewed jet won't be a traditional fighter design and would have various drones designed to work together. This family of systems initiative also includes new weapons, sensors, networking, and battle management capabilities. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall recently revealed that the NGAD system wouldn't follow the early schedule that called for new versions to be fielded every 5 years, since that would be too complex. Even though the program has entered formal development, it is still in the competition. In April 2022, Kendall said that the NGAD would cost multiple hundreds of millions of dollars in an appearance before the House Armed Services Committee. While he did not specify a figure, the NGAD is expected to be the most expensive aircraft program in history. The NGAD is likely several times more expensive than the F-35A 5th-generation jet that is currently on order. With a cost of around $130 million each, the F-35B is currently the most expensive fighter jet in production. Each aircraft is designed specifically for short takeoffs and vertical landings. It is being purchased in modest numbers for use aboard aircraft carriers. In contrast, the F-35A was created to be a low-cost 5th-generation aircraft that American allies in the Air Force could buy in huge numbers. Given that each airframe costs roughly $80 million, it is the most affordable variant of the F-35 fighter in terms of the acquisition cost. Older 4th-generation F-15s, Rafale fighters, and European 4th-generation Eurofighters all have substantially less powerful engines and fewer essential capabilities, including stealth, but they cost much more. The F-35's operational cost is significantly more than expected. Its unreliability in even medium-intensity combat, continued performance concerns, harsh criticism from Pentagon officials, and other factors have raised the potential of drastically reducing the numbers manufactured. The challenge to American air dominance during the nearly 2-hour House Armed Services Subcommittee on Readiness on April 28. U.S. lawmakers criticized the F-35 Joint Program Office for the underperformance of the F-35 stealth fighter jets, as reported by Eurasian Times. Further, the mission-capable minimum performance target for the 3 variants in FY 2021 was not met by at least 9 percentage points, according to the Government Accountability Office (GAO) report. If an aircraft is safe to fly and can complete at least one assigned mission, it is said to be mission-capable. While the F-35 is currently being produced at nearly 150 fighters a year, the upcoming 6th-generation fighter may see less than 200 fighters built over their entire production time, possibly even under 100. A fixed-wing aircraft mechanic with Marine Fighter Attack Squadron (BFA) 121 conducts pre-flight checks on a F-35B Lightning I aircraft at Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni, Japan, Twitter. With most American air power's challenges coming from ground-based air defense networks rather than enemy fighter jets, the F-35 is primarily designed for air-to-ground operations and is suitable for air defense suppression. However, the F-35 is not particularly suited to engaging high-performance enemy air superiority fighters. There aren't many threats from high-performance 5th-generation jets geared for air domination because Russia has delayed its Su-57 program and has canceled the promising Soviet MiG 1.42 program. Besides the F-35, China's J-20 fighter jet is the only 5th-generation aircraft in production and fielded at squadron-level strength. It poses a very potent peer-level challenge to the American air superiority, primarily intending to defeat the next-generation air dominance fighter. However, the export of the J-20 and the materialization of the Su-57 into a similar challenge remain uncertain. The number of NGAD 6th-gen fighter jet is expected to be constrained by the limited number of high-performance air superiority fighters fielded abroad and its cost. The number built will most likely depend on their cost and the Pentagon's threat perceptions. The hundreds of millions for each fighter that the Air Force Secretary hinted at could be between $300 million and $900 million per airframe, with additional costs for spare parts, maintenance infrastructure, and accompanying wingman drones. The Loyal Wingman drone, or an adjunct aircraft, would complement the manned 6th-generation fighter and protect it and the pilots in combat. The U.S. is working on the project diligently alongside this manned aircraft. Additionally, the running expenditures of NGAD will significantly increase the cost of each airframe throughout its lifetime, and most certainly surpass the acquisition costs of the aircraft. It is the case with most of the current 4th and 5th generation fighter jets in the U.S. Air Force. A fleet of well under 100 airframes is likely if the NGAD has a manufacturing to operational costs ratio similar to that of the F-22 Raptors that the former aims to replace. However, a fleet of nearly 200 fighters or slightly more would be a high possibility only if it can have lower operational costs than the Raptors. Over and above that, an important question still needs to be answered: if the NGAD will be the first fighter of its generation to enter service. U.S. officials are unsure whether the NGAD will be the first fighter to enter service or whether a rival Chinese program will do so first. As for military aviation enthusiasts in particular, it's no secret that currently there is at least a 6th-generation fighter aircraft project. Everything is clear about the project of independent and militarily powerful states behind it, which are simply obliged to have such weapons. The hope is that these planes can be designed to be less survivable and less capable but still carry a great deal of combat in a mix that is difficult for adversaries to sort through and deal with, Kendall said. You can even deliberately sacrifice some of them to draw fire, if you want, to make the enemy expose himself. The Air Force wants the drone to cost no more than half the price of the F-35, making the most expensive CCA about $40 million. However, Kendall said he wanted to spend a factor less than that, because some of the drones would be lost in battle. It would be much easier for the USAF to lose a damaged drone than an expensive high-end fighter. According to Kendall, the final cost will depend on the mission equipment it decides to mount on the drone. Fielding a CZA with multiple mission packages has its advantages, and options include adding weapons, sensors, electronic warfare systems, or other effects. That's one way to reduce costs, he said. This creates uncertainty that the adversary has to deal with, because he doesn't know which planes are. He had to take each of them seriously as a threat. So, whether they all carried guns or a subset carried weapons, he would treat them all as if they did. If you enjoyed content like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe to this video, because I appreciate all your support.